probably one of the most important election of, I think, my lifetime.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming up. You and I, both former Republicans, you and I, both conservative, and actually conservative.
Yeah, like real ones.
Not radicals, conservatives. You and I, both conservatives. Our party just keeps getting worse. They're screwing over the military in the Senate. They're attacking, eviscerating, besmirching military leaders in the House. The Republicans are. It seems like a full-scale attack against the military, a full-scale attack against law enforcement. If you're a Capitol Hill cop, a full-scale attack against law enforcement. If you're in the FBI, a full-scale attack against the rule of law. Whatever it is, like all the things that drove my parents from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party in the late 1960s when Democrats were radicals were trying to tear down institutions. We've just done a complete U-turn. And now it's Republicans that are trying to tear down institutions. And as I always say, I do the Burke quote, the founder of conservatism, who said, institutions that are built up in 1,000 years can be torn down in a day.
Yeah.
And that's what Donald Trump wants to do. And it's what it's what Steve Bannon said from the beginning. I'm a Leninist. I want to destroy the government.
What is it that Republicans stand for now? I mean, I ask myself that. Okay. People say, well, they're for fiscal responsibility. Well, I was in Congress when we spent a lot of money. Okay. People can say, well, they're for a strong national defense. Okay. Well, about half the party right now doesn't want to support Ukraine. About a quarter of the party, most of the party right now is saying, hey, let's support Israel in this, but we have to do it at the cost of the IRS. Why? Right. Because I can go on a certain news channel and go after the IRS, which everybody hates. And so that's actually good for fundraising. Really, it all boils down to it's great for fundraising and great for outrage. And in the book, I mean, that's what I talk about is just watching. You got to watch a few years before I came in, and I got to watch the years after you left and on. And just now I can look back and be like, oh, well, there were all these signs that we were going to become a party unmoored to any principle. And it was all just about outrage and fundraising. And what conservatism has become is no longer principles. Conservatism has become, can you be offensive? Can you be the one that's the most radical? The one party at the one table at the Lincoln Day dinner with the weirdos, the next year becomes like everybody at the Lincoln Day dinner and what they believe.
By the way, there always was that table. You would shake hands with Main Street Republicans. You would walk past the table of weirdos. You go, how you doing? Thanks so much for you. And you would keep walking and talking to people who believed in balancing the budget, and supporting Israel and pushing back on Russia and all those very weird things that we Republicans used to believe.
So, Congressman, let's get your take on the new Speaker of the House, someone you served with.
Yeah.
Someone who, at the moment, has Israel aid, but with conditions and offsets and going to raise the deficit. Someone who, at least to this point, has not been willing to support funding for Ukraine. And someone who was one of the leaders in efforts to overturn Joe Biden's election.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's just he's a well-dressed insurrectionist. I mean, my interaction with Mike Johnson, I had a few, didn't know him well because nobody knew him, actually. But he came to me with his little clipboard one time and was asking me if I would sign on to this amicus brief to a Texas lawsuit throwing out other states' election results, right? This is the thing in December. And I remember I was just looked at him. I'm like, Mike, I mean, you know who I am. You know what I've been saying, right? There's no way I'm going to sign on to this. And he kind of scurries away with it. And I remember thinking, nobody's going to sign on to that, of course. Well, almost 100 did, including, by the way, Kevin McCarthy, who told Liz Cheney that there's no way he's going to sign on to that. I'm come on, I'm not going to sign on to that. The next morning, the list of people that signed on to this Mike Johnson attempt to overturn the election came out. Kevin McCarthy wasn't on it. He put out a statement that said his name was inadvertently left off and that he was added onto it. That goes to show what kind of a man Kevin McCarthy is. Yeah. Mike Johnson's just the guy that was leading what Kevin McCarthy was. Can I say the split screen, though, of Jenna Ellis tearfully admitting of lying to the American people in court
and apologizing,
and at the same time, the base entry to be considered as a speaker candidate for the GOP was you had to be still lying about the election. Can I say that split screen and how much that shows that the GOP doesn't mind lying to its voters
Can we
anymore?
also remind everybody about
broken.
his very progressive stances on LGBTQ as far as everything that basically he
So
wrote an op-ed
interesting.
piece in 2005 basically saying that if you're gay, it's against the law, it's going to lead to pedophilia, it's going to lead to you marrying your pets. This is the most powerful Republican, and this is who they elected.
So, Congressman, let's get the view from the inside. You watched this all happen. Around the 2020 election, you and Liz Cheney were pretty lonely in that Republican caucus. Let's look ahead now to next year's election. You've got a guy who led the legal effort to overturn the election, who's now the Speaker of the House. You've got an entire caucus, as you say, who the litmus test is, are you on board with overturning the election? If it's yes, okay, you're good with us. What should we expect next fall?
You should expect pure fear right now in the GOP to act. You'll be lucky if the government stays open. You'll be lucky if you get these aid bills done. Okay. What do you expect next year? What do I expect next year? I actually expect the Republicans are going to get crushed because the American people know they're lying to them. I mean, even if they're too scared to say it, they know it. But I'll say this. I think the most important thing the Democratic Party can do right now, and frankly, the independents, is say there's only one issue on the ballot in my mind. The only issue is, does democracy survive or doesn't it? You know, Joe had said earlier, this is the most important election. Every election you hear that. This is different because I truly think the guardrails of democracy held once. I don't think they can hold against the same impact. And if Donald Trump wins, which is possible, everybody, he could win. He's only going to put people around him that say, like, I don't actually care about the Constitution. I'm going to swear an allegiance to you. So I think it's going to be an intense year. It's going to be a pretty bad year, to be honest.
But do you think Democrats are going to win?
I don't know. I mean, yes, I think if it's today, because I still believe in the faith of democracy that 50+1% of people can see through this. But the problem is my Democratic friends are taking it for granted. When I say be worried about Donald Trump, a lot of times they scoff at me. Like, oh, no, be worried about Donald Trump because he could win this thing.